I can't win with the lights. It's either really bright or shadowy. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Bonnie and I would love it if you subscribe. So today I wanted to do a video that I've been procrastinating making for 2 months. I think it was the end of August when we went to Children's Hospital to talk about closing Hannah's stoma and meet with a new ENT. And I've just been in a YouTube rut and I'm really sorry, but I have a vlog from this and like I'm pretty emotional in it. I got pretty worked up in it. So I definitely wanted to post this video first and then post that because I was in like a annoyed state in that. So now you kind of get the whole picture before you see how I reacted. So today I wanted to talk about Hannah's trach hole being closed. It's called a stoma. And if you're not familiar with this, Hannah had a tracheostomy for 3 years and she's had it out now for just over a year. We recently switched hospitals, which is a big part of this video and the problems in this video. So we recently switched hospitals. Long story short, there's a vlog of what they did wrong, and I'll insert a clip and then it'll be in the description below. But pretty much the ENT, the respirologist at our old hospital, went out of the country when he was scheduled to take out Hannah's trach, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And then the ENT wrongly diagnosed her for having something that she didn't have because he didn't just want to do his job and didn't want to actually do stuff. So if it was up to him, Hannah would have had her trach for at least another year. So we switched hospitals because even before that ENT gave me this impression that he wasn't really doing his job properly and he was kind of guessing at things. So I already had a bad vibe, and then that was how could you trust somebody like that? So we went to go meet with this new ENT. Why are you dying? I have the other one charging and this is just gonna flash and hopefully we can get this video done because it's getting filmed today. Pretty much I've always been told that the plan to close this stoma was a couple stitches. Never heard of any other way of doing it. So we went to Vancouver to meet this ENT for the first time and talk about closing the hole. Well, when we got there, he had a completely different way of doing it and won't do it with stitches. What he wants to do is he wants to core out the stoma. So pretty much he's gonna cut all of the tissue around her stoma, all of the thick tissue. So he's gonna make the hole bigger. And then he's gonna put a trach in for overnight, maybe a day. A small trach, he says. And then they're gonna take it out and then they're gonna let it heal over. And instantly, if you're a trach mom, you are I am not signing them up for a trach. Yeah, you said just for the night, but it doesn't matter. Why? That's pretty much all I got from him. He has terrible bedside manner, but most surgeons do, and he was annoyed that Haley was there and Haley and Hannah were fighting, which Haley's gonna be at the surgeries because I don't have unlimited daycare. I don't have anybody for her, so good job, you're gonna be annoyed. But yeah, so I tried to I was well, what are the risks and things like that, because you can't tell me there's not risks. And he didn't have anything to say. She's also gonna get her adenoids out. She's getting those out soon. She's gonna get her adenoids out because she's got tubes in her ears 3 times now. This is the 3rd? No, wait, I think she's getting them for the 3rd time. And he says that getting the adenoids out will reduce the risk of her getting it a 4th time. So we're taking out her adenoids. And then we're gonna also scope her airway, just make sure that there isn't any granulation tissue. So when the trach was in, because it's a foreign object, it can make when you get your ears pierced, you get an overgrowth of skin sometimes. Well, that can happen in your airway. So eventually if we ever closed it, or if it closes on its own and there's something in there, then she won't be able to breathe because that thing will be blocking and it can keep growing. So we're gonna check that, and we're gonna check her vocal cords, and then he wanted to do the coring, and he actually got me to sign the the consent form. And I signed it that day because I was okay, this surgery will grow on me. The only reason you don't like the sounds of it is because of the trach. And and usually with things like this, I don't know, I'm a pretty easygoing parent. For surgery wise, I wouldn't say I'm the natural way of doing things. At this point in my life, with everything that's happened, some surgeries are necessary and some aren't, and I don't know, I'm not really one that's oh, my baby has to go for surgery. I don't know, I'm just I've been through a lot. I thought I would get over it, and I thought the initial it's just because of the trach and that's why it's bothering you was the problem. So I signed the consent, and then I went home and googled, well, not home, but we went to the hotel and I googled and I talked to other parents, and I just became more not okay with the surgery. So I went on a bunch of forums and stuff, and I'll insert these pictures. I found this one on tracheostomy.com, and it's a picture of when it happened, or 2 days after surgery, and then about 4 weeks later. And then I also found one that somebody posted. My son poured out pretty little pain, went home the next day. But if you see how big that hole is, like, I'm gonna open up this big hole, and then I'm gonna send her to school. Like, sure, I could close it, but like, it's healing. So like I mean, with a band-aid, I could put a band-aid on it, but it's still healing. I didn't find any like risks for this one. Like, I feel like it's a new way that they're doing it, because there wasn't really much information out there. Like, I found like 2 blog posts, and that's it. I'm also having a big issue because the airway is such a sensitive area. It's not like you have a bunch of tissue, and your airway is freaking important. So like, to just like, oh, I'm just gonna cut out some extra tissue, like, maybe if it was like your arm and your arm wasn't healing, that'd be one thing. Like, your arm's not gonna like stop breathing, or like be too much air like loss from your arm, you know? But like, I don't, something about the airway. And then I'm also gonna say a word that some people will freak out about, but Hannah used to be tested positive for MRSA, which MRSA is not that big of a deal. I should make a whole different video on it. Like, it can be a big deal, and I'm not saying it's not, but a lot of the time it just lives on your skin. Like, everybody in like a doctor's office or like at the grocery store could have MRSA, and you don't know, because it just lives on you and it doesn't do anything bad. But she used to get tested positive around her trach site and her G-tube site. MRSA makes things so that they don't heal. So if you open up a big wound, and then she has MRSA just kind of like living on her skin, like, which is what MRSA does, and then it just never heals. Like, you open it up, a big wound, expecting it to heal, but then what about if it doesn't heal? And then what about if it like gets worse? It's your airway. Like, why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just leave it alone? That's how I'm feeling about it. And then I was thinking, I'm like, well, I'm not switching back to the other hospital just so he'll do the surgery, because like, I don't want to switch back to a hospital just because they'll do it the way I want to do it when I don't trust that surgeon. Like, I don't know. I would almost rather drive to like Alberta, which I don't think is even like possible. And then on my research journey, I figured out why some doctors don't like to do the stitching method, because air can get trapped. It's what it's called, air trapping. I don't think it's very common, but I read one blog post, and it said that their daughter or son or something pretty much just stop breathing because air can get in, because they'll like, it's not fresh tissue, so it's like healed. So it's like if you stitched your finger shut, like there could be like little gaps, like you can kind of see right here. So like air could get in, but then it couldn't get back out, and then they kind of like were suffocating. But that's why you stay in the hospital for like over 24 hours or whatever afterwards. So then it'd be it's just something that you gotta watch for. Like, every surgery has risks. That's why it's bullshit that he didn't tell me there was any risk for the surgery, because you know there is. I don't know. So when I was reading that, then I got scared, and I was like, I don't even want to do that one. I just want to leave it alone. So I don't really know what we're doing anymore, because they're a new surgeon. The new children's hospital in BC will not do it the stitching way. And then, yeah, I'm not going to switch back to Victoria, so I really don't know what I'm going to do. And I read somewhere that one of the surgeons in the States, this is in the States, so it's never going to happen in Canada, for the stitching, put like a little draining tube in. It's like a tiny, 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 tiny little tube, just so that like air can get in and out, so it prevents the trapping. And then like eventually you take it out, and like, I think you stitch it, or maybe you just take it out. I'm not really too sure. But that would be a good way, except for I'm never going to be able to convince a doctor to do that. So I've definitely put in my research, and I just don't think that I'm going to be okay with the coring. And like, maybe if he sat me down and like wanted to better explain things to me and talk about the risks, but this is all the paper I got when I visited him. And this is your procedure, your child's surgery procedure, and just talks about like the anesthetics and stuff, and like drinking. And then this one this one might have been from Haley. It's a tonsil and adenoid surgery, and it talks about their pain and what they'll go through and blah blah blah. And then this is another one. This is why I feel like the adenoid general patient information tells you about all the risks and what's gonna happen. And then this one is for a different thing. And then this one is the tubes in her ears that she's going to get, and it tells you all about it again. And then another anoids and anoidectomy thing. Was there anything about coring out her stoma? No, you didn't give me enough information for me to be okay with that. So this is pretty much just a big rant video, but that's how I feel. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do anything. Like, I quickly talked to the respirologist, like I stopped in his office, but he got called out, so I didn't really get to talk to him. And he made me feel calmer about the surgery. I still wasn't okay with it, but like, he could talk to me in a way that was like, your child's gonna be okay. But I'm not really okay with it. So I don't really think I'm gonna do anything, or at least for now, I'm gonna wait another year, because like, what's the harm in it? What's harming her right now? She can't have a bath or shower or whatever, but what are the more serious risks? What if she has to get a trach permanently after this, or like, I don't know. I'm just not okay with it. I'm just not. And some of you might not agree with me either. I know that some of my family members already don't agree with me, but they're always so sensitive, you know? But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up because it's at 11 minutes and I don't know how this thing didn't die on me, but... So anyways, I'll see you in our next video. Bye.